Welcome back, students. Today we are going to learn about sentences, phrases, and clauses. A phrase is a group of words that may have a verb. So, verb is basically an action word. It shows an action like running, skipping, jogging, eating. So, a phrase is a group of words that may have a verb but does not have a subject doing an action. For example, hiding under a table. So we don't know who is hiding under a table. Second one, on a chair. So we don't know who is sitting on a chair or what is kept on a chair. The next one is tea and sugar. So what are we going to do with the tea and sugar? Across the sky. So what is across the sky? Are there birds there? Are there clouds floating? So this is an example of a phrase. And phrases are divided into three types. So a phrase can function as a noun, adjective, or an adverb. So the first example is of a noun phrase. So a noun phrase is where you have the phrase which acts like a noun. A noun phrase has a noun and other words that come before or after a noun. And basically it answers a question like who, what. My classmates have a lot of books. So who has a lot of books? The classmates. So this is an example of a noun phrase. So next we go to adjective phrase. Adjective phrase works like an adjective. So adjective is basically something that describes a noun. So here you have zebra has black and white stripes. So what kind of stripes does a zebra have? Black and white. The third one is adverb. So adverb phrase does the work of an adverb and it is used to modify a verb, an adjective or an adverb. So basically it answers questions like when, where, why, how. And here, the bear was hiding in the cave. So in the cave is a adverb phrase here. Next we go to clauses. A clause is a group of words that has a subject doing the action. So in the first example, you can see Mary can drive. Who can drive? Mary. So it may or may not make complete sense, like until it cools down. So until what cools down? So it's not complete. But we have a it here. It is a pronoun here. Every sentence may have one or more clauses. Here, the types of clauses are independent clause and dependent clause. A clause that can stand alone is an independent clause. That is, it was a black leopard. So it makes complete sense. Dependent clause, a clause which needs another clause to make sense. Like, it was a black leopard that pounced on him. So example, we put that pounced on him. So we don't know what pounced on him. So you need the other clause. So it is dependent on the previous clause to make full sense. Next we go to sentences. Sentences is a group of words that express a complete thought and typically consists of a subject and a verb. So it begins with a capital letter and it can end with a punctuation mark. And those punctuation marks can be a period or a full stop, what we call a question mark or an exclamation point. Sentences. Basic structure. It has a subject. It's a noun or a pronoun that performs the action of the verb. Predicate, the part of the sentence that tells us something about the subject, including the verb or any other words that modify it. Sentences based on purpose. So first kind of sentence is declarative. It just makes a statement and it ends with a period or a full stop. For example, I'm studying. Interrogative. So this kind of sentence asks questions. So it always ends with a question mark. Example, where are you going? What are you doing? Next is a imperative. So gives a command or makes a request and it ends with a full stop or a period. Example, please close the door. The next one is exclamatory sentence. So this expresses a strong emotion and ends with an exclamatory mark, like that was super exciting. It was very, very scary. Now, there are certain rules while writing sentences. A complete sentence must include a noun and a verb. That is, for example, the bird flew. A complete sentence must include a subject and a predicate, like the angry bird flew quickly across the sky. Rule 3. The only exception to the above rules is an imperative sentence. Go away, for example. Adjectives can go directly before the noun they describe it or after it if separated by a verb. For example, the angry bird flew. The bird is angry. Now, the other kind of sentences are based on the structure. Simple sentence. It contains one independent clause. So the whole sentence will make sense. Like the cat sat on a mat. Next is a compound sentence. It contains two or more independent clauses which are joined by coordinating conjunctions. So conjunctions are words which join two sentences like but, and, or. So example of a compound sentence is I went to the store, but it was closed. Now complex sentence. It contains one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses, which cannot stand alone as a sentence. Example, because it was raining, I stayed inside. So this was about the sentences. Thank you for joining the class. Meet you in the next class with some punctuation marks.